Okay, let's get this tool cabinet up on the wall. Let's do it. What's happening, everyone? Welcome back to the workshop. Now this is part 3 of our hand tool cabinet build. So in part 1 we built the carcass for the main part of the body and the 2 doors, made that from Baltic birch ply. In part 2 we built this hand plane tail and saw tail. That's again Baltic birch with walnut, sapele and some oak, and it's also removable, so this whole unit can be taken out and can be built as a standalone unit. So that's part 2 if you want to check that out. In this part we're going to get this up on the wall, so we're going to have a look at our French cleats. We're going to get some hinges on our doors, get that all done. Like I said, we get this up in the cabinet, or get this cabinet up on the wall, and we're going to get some tools into it. So I have loads of offcuts of pieces of hardwood that I've been storing in a scrap bin, and we'll use that then to get some tools into our cabinet. So that's going to be this video. It could be a nice short one for part 3, so let's just jump in and do it. Okay guys, on with part 3. Now since part 2 I've added a couple of coats of Danish oil to the carcass of this hand tool cabinet. So the Baltic birch ply has yellowed up nicely now with the Danish oil, a couple of coats of Danish oil on it, and I've added a few more coats of Danish oil to the hand plane tail and the saw tail, and that has a lovely satin sheen on it now. So that's all done, ready to go. So like I said, we want to get this up on the wall now, we want to get some hinges on it. Now for the hinges I was kind of toying with a few ideas. I know most say hand tool cabinets you will see used with piano hinges, but this is a kind of big one. The doors are quite heavy and we're going to be adding tools to this both sides. So I bought these piano hinges, but I'm not overly confident with them, so I'm not going to go with these. So there's a change of plan. I'm going to use T hinges on the outside of the door so that the weight of the door is supported all the way along the width of the door as well, rather than just in here. So when it's swinging out and when it's hanging out to the side like this, there's a bit more support on it. That's why I've opted for the T hinges. So I've opted for black, some black ironmongery. So we have some black T hinges. So we're going to put 2 on each door. These are pretty heavy duty, so they will take the weight. They can take the strain this way. And I've also opted for some nice black bolts and stuff like this to go on it, and we have some nice hooks to hook it back to the wall when doors are fully open. So that's what we're going to go with. That's what I finally decided on, purely for strength wise, and it actually looks quite nice on the side of the cabinet having the black hinges. They're a little bit decorative and are nice and inexpensive as well, so it's an inexpensive option. Now I have 2 of them mounted already. I'll show you that in a second. We're going to get the next ones on, then we look at the French cleats for mounting this on the wall. Let's do it. Okay guys, we have one of the doors mounted, so we're going to mount the other one now, like I say, but I have the black hinges on, so I just wanted to give you a quick look at them. So you can see the door is nicely balanced, so no matter where I leave it, it doesn't swing in or doesn't swing out, so that's pretty good. It moves nice and freely on those hinges, and the nice thing about it is it's supported all the way along, it's out to here, so when it's hanging with the weight, all the weight is right here, it's pulling straight down through here, so it's nice to have it supported all the way out to the edge. The piano hinges are in here, and you have a nice big strain the whole way down your piano hinge. Now I know some piano hinges can take an awful lot of weight. I think it's like 100 pounds per inch or something, some piano hinges, but those ones aren't great. So I've opted for this instead, because I have seen piano hinges sag from time to time. So like I say, this is why I'm opting for these. So you can see, works quite nicely. Go in and close just like that, and then we're going to put some nice light doors on the front of this in a later video that will open out, and we'll have more tools in here. So that's it. Let's get the other set of hinges on. You can see the black hinges on the side of it now. That's our T hinges. That's how they work. Okay, putting the hinges on, nice and simple. T hinges are exceptionally simple to fit. There's not much to it really. You just keep the center of your hinge exactly in line of your carcass and your door. I measured up 100 millimeters from the bottom and down from the top, so 4 inches down and 4 inches up, and my hinge will sit like that. And like I say, keep the center of your hinge, the hinge mechanism, exactly in the split, in the line here, the whole way down, and you will be good to go. And I'm just using these nice, like I say, decorative brass Torx to screw everything together. So let's get this fit up, and let's get it hanging on the wall. Like that. And we want to do the same at the top. Just like that. Okay, so there's our doors pre-fit. They're operating nicely. I won't leave them out all the way because all the weight will come forward and the cabinet will fall off the table. But they close nicely together and they open nicely together. So that's good. So now what I'll do is I'm going to pull the hinges off the doors, or off the carcass actually, and then we're going to mount the carcass to the wall. So I'll do that, and then we'll have a look at the French cleats. Let's do that. Right guys, I just pulled the two doors off so the hinges will remain on the doors. We have our screw holes now mounted in the side of our carcass. It just makes it much easier doing this down here rather than trying to hold it up on the wall, get everything jigged up and then trying to do it while it's suspended in the air. We have a nice flat work surface here, so it's easier to do it down here. And now our carcass is marked. Our hinges remain on the door, so it's just a case of putting 3 screws back in each hinge. Now let's have a look at these French cleats that I was supposed to show you in the last episode. So if you've not seen French cleats before, they're exceptionally easy and very, very strong mounting system. So let's have a quick look at that. Okay guys, so here are our French cleats. So I have 2 on the back of the cabinet and we have 2 up on the wall mounted behind me. Now they're exceptionally simple. It's just a 45-degree miter on the bottom here and on the top of the ones on the wall. And you just take our 45-degree miter. This is your wall bracket and that slots up in there perfectly. So the more weight you put on this, the better it's held because it slots down those 2 45s together. And the nice thing about French cleats as well is they spread the load and the cabinet is not permanently fixed to the wall. So that's the main advantage of them. So you have a nice big long bracket, 2 of them in fact, and it's spreading the weight of the cabinet across the length of the cabinet, which is nice. And you get a lot of fixing points both on the back of the cabinet and on the wall. And should you ever need to remove anything from your French cleats, it's just a case of lift it up and take it off the wall. So it's not permanently in place. If you ever need to work on the cabinet or anything that you mount with French cleats, you have that option. So that's how they work, nice and simple. Just a 45-degree miter on one piece, a 45-degree miter on the other. Turn them opposite directions and they slot together nice and simple. So let's get this up on the wall now. Okay, let's get this thing up on the wall. Now, I should just tell you, I made the French cleats from WBP ply, not the birch ply. It's a lower grade ply. It's never going to be seen. It's used for brackets. So yeah, don't use our good ply for your brackets. Use a cheaper ply for that. Now, let's get a little bit of weight out of this cabinet. So we'll take out the sawtail and the plane tail, just to make it a little bit lighter. And let's get this up on the wall. There we go, that should be it. So nice and easy, and that's good and strong. French cleats are a great option, especially if you're hanging something really heavy from the wall, like I say, because it spreads the load all the way across the long brackets. So there we go, quite heavy. Okay, in order to get our doors on, just build up a small little platform. The doors aren't actually that heavy, so they're not too bad. Just let that sit up there. Line everything up because we already have our holes drilled, and get our screws in. There we go. Lovely. Let's do the other one. Okay guys, there we go. It's up on the wall and I'm pretty happy with that. Those doors are working beautifully. It's a nice big cabinet, and once we start adding some more hardwood accents to this, it's really going to look nice. So you can see how it's going to work now. There's a small little bit of pressure that it wants to pop open, but that's okay because we'll be putting the big bolt across the bottom anyway and locking that in place, and that will hold everything for us nicely. So they work very, very nicely. Like I say, they're very well balanced, so you can leave them anywhere, not falling forward or falling backwards. Open to their full position. We're going to put the hooks on now to hook them open, so they'll sit just like that, which is almost perfect. We can even fit some stops to the sides of our cabinet if we feel we need to. A little stop between the cabinet and the door, We'll see how we get on. We can add that later, like I say. But we put the hooks on now, we'll put the bolt on, and that's kind of the cabinet up on the wall. So yeah, pretty good. Pretty happy with how they are turning out. So you can see how they're going to work. Nice big doors. Whoop, bang it. And then we're going to put a nice light decorative door on the front of the cabinet here, so we can access tools here as well should we need to. So we'll put the tools that we don't use the most, will go here, because the cabinet will spend most of its time like this. And if we need to access those tools, it's very easy just to come over and take them out of here should we need to. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, let's get the bolt and the hooks on. Okay guys, so our next job, I'm going to put a nice big bolt like this on the bottom. Again, it's all black kind of ironmongery stuff, so it'll match the hinges. Now this is going to sit underneath the cabinet. Like I said, there's a little bit of a spring in the doors, so a nice heavy duty bolt like this will keep everything locked together for us, and we can fit a padlock to this should we need to. Now, a padlock will only ever keep an honest man out, but at least it'll slow the unhonest people or dishonest people down a small bit. But yeah, so that's what we're going to do. Let's get that on, and let's get these doors held together. So the first thing we want to do is get them lined up exactly the way we want them. Get a clamp in there. So keep that together, just like that. And let's fit our lock. That's going to be kind of hard for you guys to see this, but I'll show you when it's done. But the lock is just going to sit up underneath like this. I'm going to have the lever. Will just come out and it'll be to the front there, so I can just pop it down, slide it open, and open the doors. So let's get everything lined up to where we want to be. Our bolt, when it's fully home, sits there. So we want that guy to be there, just like that. Perfect. I'm going to use these same brass Torx because they're quite good. And they're, like I say, they're 3/4 inch or 20 mil. So that's the same thickness as our cabinet. Okay guys, so there's our bolt in place. Now I left a little bit of tension in this as well, so I've put the receiver a little bit this way just to put pressure on the bolt and pull the bolt this way, so that will help keep the doors closed. It also keeps the bolt a little bit stiffer so that this isn't flopping around, so when I shove it in and push that up, it's going to actually stay there. So it's a little bit of tension on the bolt, and it'll keep the doors pressed that way when it goes together as well. So just move that in a couple of mil that way, just like I say, keep the doors nice and pressed together. So let's try it out. Okay guys, our doors are just up. Now I've added 2 magnetic stops on the top just to hold the doors in place. So nice and easy, very, very simple. Just a little metal plate on a little walnut block in the corner of the door. And that sits in there nicely, and then we can add a little bit of strength with the bolt on the bottom. So that's it kind of done there. Now that's the doors up in place, and they open out nicely like that. So now we just want to put the little hooks either side just to keep it hooked back against the wall. They don't really need it, but when we put tools in this, if we're slightly heavier on one side, they might slide or swing forward. So we'll put them on just in case. So yeah, let's do that next. Right guys, not much to this, just line everything up again. Roughly get our doors where we want them to sit. And then we can line up our hook and our eye. So again, very, very simple. So about there is where I want to be. I obviously want to avoid my lock mechanism as well, so that's why I'm going to stay in the middle of the door for this. So that can actually go right to the edge, right there. That's my position. I'll just repeat that then on the other side. So there we go guys, just a simple hook and loop or hook and eye. So I can just put the door back, put that guy in there, and it'll just hold it in place. So we're going to do the same on the other side. Okay, another job done guys, nice and simple, just a couple of eyes. When you want to close it back up again, just release those guys off and we can lock it in place just like that. Happy days. So again, it's just because I will be weighting these doors, and it's just a nice little safety thing just to have those eyes there. So when you pull your doors open, you can just ensure that they're held in place. Like I say, most of the time I'm in here, these doors will be open just like this anyway. But when we start adding tools, they will start to get heavier. So that's the fact that they're locked in place. And you don't get hit in the face when you're walking past it. That's all. Okay, so now as it comes the fun part, I can start transferring all my tools into here. That's it up on the wall. It's not going to come off the wall again, so it's permanently in place now. So we can start to put everything into the main carcass anyway, and then we can start building out our doors. Okay guys, we'll let it there for this video. I know I said at the start we might fit some of the tools, but I think we'll leave that till the next video. We'll just let this one be attaching the fixtures and fittings and mounting the actual cabinet itself. It's kind of a one video on its own kind of topic, so we're going to let it there. So, like I said, we're going to have all our chisels, rasps and stuff, and possibly our mallets here. And we're going to have our marking equipment will all be on this side, so the rulers, measuring tapes, squares, all that kind of stuff, marking knives, gauges, dividers, they'll all sit there. I'm also going to be putting the dehumidifier in with this as well, so that's going to sit there when this cabinet is closed. So the nice thing about closing the cabinet, it stops all the cold air circulating in this workshop, and it just keeps the moisture level in the cabinet down. I had it in there and it worked really, really well. As well as the Protect tool on all the planes, it really does stop the rust. So hopefully now in the next episode we're going to come almost to the end of this. So we have doors to make, and we have drawers to make, and we have to hang all the tools. So I'm probably going to do some sapele fronts on all these drawers. We're going to do true dovetails so that you can see all the dovetails all along the front. So we have to make 7 drawers from sapele, maybe maple, so we have a nice contrast in that, and that will keep all our attachments for the plough plane and the router plane and all those little bits and pieces that you have belong to your hand tools. All the grease or all the waxes and stuff like that will sit in there as well. So all the little bits and bobs we can keep in the bottom drawers. We'll add some lights. So we've a bit to do on this, so hopefully I can get the materials in the next day or two that we can kind of knock out the rest of this hand tool cabinet. So like I say, we'll leave it there for now. Now, one of you guys did mention about the base for the Japanese hand saws. I didn't put it in because I didn't have time. And now actually I don't think it's needed. So it's a nice clean look not having it in. The Japanese hand saws sit happily on their own handles like that, just in the curve slots. So we'll just leave it like that because actually it's nice and clean looking. So that's where that's going to stay. So there you go guys. Hopefully you've enjoyed that. Hopefully you've got a little something for that. It's just going to keep it short and sweet like I said. Not much to this video, but rather than kind of add all this into the next video and have it all be a big long video, we'll break this into a section on its own. So give it a thumbs up if you like it guys, comments and questions below as always. Hopefully you're getting something out of this build series, and we're almost done with our hand tool cabinet. That's it, the doors are up now, so happy days, we can move on. So we're going to lock up for the night now, and I'm going to get out of this workshop. So let's close it up and protect all the hand tools. We'll leave the dehumidifier in there. And that's it for the night. Just like that. There we go. Tools nice and protected. I'll see you in the next one, guys. Take it easy.